Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Final Word, the number one Pacers podcast on the web. I'm your host, Preston.
And I'm your co-host, Raj. So we have another great show lined up for you guys today. But before we get to that, make sure you guys subscribe to The Final Word so you never miss a show. Also, if you guys would like to show support for the podcast and sponsor us at the top level, go ahead and click the link in the episode description below. We'll go ahead and shout out your business, your cause, or just your social media handle each month. Also, you'll be added to a private Final Word community so you can hang live with me and Preston while we watch the Pacers smoke the competition, or you guys can just support by getting a professionally installed smart home security system by one of the top smart home providers in the country. Just go ahead and text smart home to 317-300-4750. Again, that's 317-300-4750. So, Preston, what about that game?
That game was great, and starting for the Pacers, we had Buddy Hield, Aaron Nesmith, Myles Turner, Andrew Nimbhard, and Tyrese Haliburton for the starting lineup.
So right off the bat, Paul George hits a three and shushes the crowd. So there's a lot of fans I know that are still bitter about Paul George leaving, and I'm pretty sure they let them know by booing Paul George. But honestly, I'm not mad at him. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think the fans are still bitter about Paul George, or do you think they just because it's the opposition?
I think, bitter? Nah, I don't think so.
You don't think they're still bitter?
Nah,
you don't think nobody's still bitter?
Yeah, I think they're over it.
Yeah. Well, they were booing them.
They were booing them. They were?
Yeah, they were booing them.
They were okay. Well, maybe some, but I'm over it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, it's just you gotta get with the league now. You gotta get with the time, and like people are switching more teams like left and right nowadays. So I mean, you kind of just it is what it is. Okay. So I mean.
Yeah, I think it was just more so how Paul George left. Kind of like Victor Oladipo, actually. I'm not sure who was worse. Was it Oladipo or was it how Paul George left? Actually,
Oladipo.
I think it was how Oladipo left.
Oladipo is just disrespectful. He just wanted more money, prideful and stuff. And Paul, he just realized that he just, I think maybe he thought he could have won with OKC more. Because, Russell Westbrook and, what's the guy's name? There was Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and that one, Carmelo. No.
Was Carmelo there?
Carmelo Anthony? That's him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
He was probably thinking he was going to have a better chance of winning there than the Pacers, which is understandable.
I can't remember him being there, but Carmelo anyways. But
yeah.
I think some people were a little bitter, but some people honestly are probably a little jealous because they see how well he's played after he's left the Pacers. He's been playing phenomenal. At this last game, he definitely played phenomenal. So he was looking like Superman or possibly a supervillain, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, true.
So, but yeah, I think there's just a lot of people who honestly miss Paul George, and they kind of show it just by being a little rude, maybe. But that's just how people are. It's kind of like if they have an ex-girlfriend. Not that you would know anything about that. You better not. So they probably just miss him. That's probably all it is.
That's all it is.
But he hit the first three, shushed the crowd and everything. Saw him do that. And then for the Pacers, Nimbhard actually hit the first 2 points. So that was good for us, good for him, for his confidence, I'm sure.
I saw him take more shots this game. Even though he didn't make all of them and some of his attempts to the lane didn't really succeed throughout the game, he would still be an asset and find one of these plays. He found Buddy over in the corner, which is great. So he's still finding ways, just if he's off tonight, which I don't think he was like terribly off. I think he just could have hit a little bit more shots that he tried to make her have better, succeed in more attempts. But he was also a great asset to the team in other ways.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you mentioned Buddy, and Buddy is still smoking hot. He is still leading the league in 3 points made. I guess apparently in the last 2 games he was 11 for 13, not including this game. But in the last 2 games, he was 11 of 13 from 3, which that's
crazy.
Ridiculous.
I know.
In the previous 5 games, he was 22 of 31 from 3. So yeah, that's definitely amazing. And he definitely showed out in this game as well. He hit a couple back-to-backs, did he? Hit a couple
back-to-back.
back-to-back
Oh yeah,
threes.
he had a back-to-back 3 in the beginning, which was really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I said, if the Pacers decide to trade Buddy Hield after this performance, they have some issues. Also about Nimbhard, one thing I like about Nimbhard, even though he's a smaller guy, it looked like Morris was trying to intimidate him and kind of was trying to get him to get into a little scuffle.
Yeah, a little scuffle here and there. But like, I think Morris, he's just doing too much. I don't even know what he was trying to talk to that rookie about or whatever. But yeah, he was just like trying to get in his head, maybe trying to be like, "You ain't nothing, boy. You just rookie."
He just looked like he was a bully. He looked like he was one of them bullies in high school or middle school trying to punk the little kid for their lunch money or something like that. So that's exactly. But yeah, Nimbhard wasn't having none of it, and they called a double tech, which honestly I don't think it should have been a double tech. They called it on Nimbhard and Morris.
Oh yeah,
I don't think it should have been a double
these
tech.
These refs, like the entire game, the Pacers were just annoyed with the refs, like the entire game, because I could just tell on their faces, tell how they reacted, and then like the refs were calling some unfair stuff. Sometimes they would call the right shot or the right play. I don't even know. The refs were just doing too much the whole game. They were just being soft. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's just, I don't know. We can't really get a break, whether it's home court or whether it's away.
I know.
But I really think the only reason they called a double tech on between Nimbhard and Morris is because Morris is more of a veteran and Nimbhard's a rookie. I really think that's what it is. I really think you get special treatment depending on years played, also on star status. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just what it seemed like because it just seemed like Nimbhard was just defending himself. That's really all it seemed like. He was just trying to walk away, defending himself. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know.
Yeah, because the play was over. Nimbhard was trying to walk back, and then Morris was getting all in his face. Nimbhard pushed him back, then Morris pushed him. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was trying to do. Because, I mean, that's terrible. Pick on somebody your own size.
Picking on the small guy.
Picking on the small guy.
You should try to pick on Myles
Morris
Turner.
Is beefy. Yeah.
Morris is, he's a little
pretty
beefy. He is, but still, he should have picked on somebody like Myles Turner. Try to do that with Myles Turner. Myles Turner, he may not be as beefy as Morris, but he's not gonna back down. I do know that.
Yeah, for real.
He's not gonna back down. And I don't know. Sometimes smaller guys like Myles, not that he's small, sometimes they just have this inner strength you just can't see and measure by the muscles actually on their body. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I know he wouldn't have taken that, and he probably wouldn't have. I don't know. He could have probably tried to punk Myles too, but who knows? But speaking of Myles, shortly after the scuffle, drains a 3, and it just seems like, and I know I've talked about this before. It just seems like Myles is a completely different player, or maybe this is just the player he's always been. He just seems calm, cool about what he's doing, level-headed, and he just seems like he's a real veteran on the team. And I don't know, maybe the fact that he's really, he's the longest tenured Pacer, and maybe he feels like he needs to, set an example to a degree. But then also, like I said, the composure of the younger guys, I think, can sometimes, affect everybody as well. So. And also maybe it could have to do with the fact he knows he's the main center. He's not having to fight over who's going to be starting, who's going to be doing what. He didn't have to hear any talk about who's a better center on the team between Sabonis and him. So yeah, he's doing really good. He's averaging about 17 points and 8 rebounds. And believe it or not, I was on one of the Pacers YouTube channels yesterday, and I saw some people are still just not happy about the amount of rebounds Myles is getting, and I'm like, why? Like, he's averaging 8 rebounds.
He could do
but still, if he's averaging 10,
people want him to be a star center.
They want him
star centers average 10 or more.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if he's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, and he's still getting blocked shots, I'll take that just because. Out of the 2 more rebounds he gets, for instance, would you say if he's averaging 10 points and 10 rebounds, he's now a double-double machine, but he's getting 7 less points?
Yeah, so
you see what I'm saying?
And also, would you rather him take away the 2 blocks he's averaging for the 2 rebounds? Because I think blocks are definitely, like, I would trade those 2 blocks for those 2 rebounds any day.
Exactly. And plus, also what he's doing, I know he was trying to make sure he couldn't get rebounds. And so when he was making sure Zubats or whatever you want to say the guy's name is,
I don't even know,
couldn't get rebounds, it was still opening up the point for the ability for his teammates to get the rebound. So it's also about, and it's not always about the personal stats, but it's also about how you affect the team with those intangibles and things like that. So if he, allows Matherin to get a rebound or allows Haliburton to get a rebound because their center wasn't able to get a rebound, I think that's a win as well. So it's overall rebounds for the team, which I don't think we have a stat for that. I'm sure we can find one. But I think that's the most important thing, that our team as a whole gets the rebounds, and that we're a better rebounding team. And so Myles is just doing his role, and he's having a good time.
Yeah.
So I know he's definitely having a much better time this season.
Yeah, for sure, because he's playing a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And also, I think at the end of the game, I know I'm kind of jumping, but he kind of hinted at possibly staying around for...
Yeah, he kind of did. Talking about being for many more years to come or whatever. I don't know what
he said we're building something special here. So
yeah, he kind of hinted that, but at the same time didn't really.
Yeah, he kind of hinted, so you still never know. He's still kind of being cryptic, and I understand just because the way you have to be these days in the NBA. So, but it is what it is. But anyways, moving on. Morris, Preston, did you know anything about a take foul?
I've heard of it, but I never really thought about it or anything. I just thought it was like kind of like a reaching foul, but apparently you have to attempt to go for the ball, and you can't just pull an arm. So
yeah, you can't just pull an arm or a body part or something like that. So actually, I kind of like that because what was the other one? It was clear path. They had that rule. Was it 1 or 2 years ago? The clear path. So there's a clear path to the basket. That's one. And so take foul, that's a good one as well.
So what's the punishment for the take foul? Like, what's the consequence?
I think it's free. I'm not really sure, but I think it's free throwing the ball back.
Free throw ball back, yeah.
Yeah, but I think these new rules honestly are cleaning up the game a lot better. So
it is.
So the teams who win are winning because they're actually better, versus teams winning because of
silly stuff like
silly stuff and rules that should have been in place. Also, the flopping. I know they don't like flopping anymore. So, I mean, I think, did that really hurt James Harden's stats?
Nah, I mean, maybe a little bit, but everybody flops. So.
Yeah.
That's for everybody a lot.
Yeah, the flopping when shooting and everything like that to try to, draw the foul and things like that. So I know they're trying to tighten up on stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate that. Hopefully they continue to do things like that, and they continue to make the game better, I believe. So,
well, yeah.
But as far as the take foul, I definitely think that's a great thing. But also, as far as how the team is working together, other than the main guys like Tyrese and Buddy and Myles, TJ McConnell had a nice assist to Matherin, a cutting Matherin. So Matherin cut to the basket, jammed it down, which is nice. I always like a good cut to the basket, but a lot of times when people cut to the basket, they cut to the basket and do a layup. But
yeah, and I like that people aren't doing these little petty layups, which I get annoyed when somebody who clearly has the height or has the hops to dunk it. Like, I get if you're a little smaller, lay it in. But for people who are like taller, have the hops like I almost said Haliburton, Matherin, dunk it. Because if you have the space, might as well secure the ball 2 hands, not necessarily one, but like a 2-hand slam. So, in a layup, some of these guys are still missing layups and stuff with contact. So, but you can make sure you can secure the ball in the basket, even if you do have a little contact, because you still have both hands around the ball and, putting it in there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think the whole layup idea is it's a gentleman's way of scoring or something like that, or not looking too flashy. But honestly, I think you need to look flashy. Like, for a Pacers team, that hasn't had a whole lot of flash. Hasn't always had a whole lot of athletic guys. I mean, Paul George, he was our most athletic guy the Pacers have ever seen. But at this point, we have at least two guys between Mathurin and Haliburton that are super athletic, and so it's just something that's different that we haven't really been able to see. And then also Isaiah Jackson for sure. He hasn't been playing or anything like that as a lately, which I'm not really sure of why that was. But yeah, we haven't had anybody who's like a lob threat like Isaiah Jackson. Is he hurt?
Who, Isaiah Jackson? I don't think so. Maybe, but I just haven't been seeing him play in a while, so he could be hurt. He could just be like coach not putting him in for certain games. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like,
he probably is hurt, because I remember the first day he started, he got hurt right off the bat.
Yeah, he could be. He's kind of skinny and everything. I know he put some muscle on him, but yeah, so, like, people say 2 points is 2 points, and I get that, but here's the thing. When you can do something fancy, like you can assist, straight lay assist, or you can do a fancy assist like Haliburton does.
Or LaMelo.
Yeah, or LaMelo. That creates energy in the building. It makes the team excited. It gets the fans excited. And then if you assist and do a dunk or something like that, it looks really nice. And then everybody goes crazy, and then everybody feeds off that energy.
For real, and the assist by T.J. McConnell, like how he did that bullet pass and like really fast, and then the Haliburton dunk. It makes the play, like if you do stuff like that, it makes the play look better than it was. So it makes it like a little pizzazz to it. So like if he just did a layup, it'd been like, okay, good play, go back. Like, but then when he slams it, just adds an extra oomph to the play.
Yeah, just something. It just spurs the team on a little bit.
And then it also hypes up the crowd.
Gets the crowd excited.
And then once the crowd's excited, then the opposite team's like, okay, good, I gotta do something, shut them up. And then the Pacers are like, oh yeah, we're hyped up. And then like all doing extra stuff on defense and stuff. And speaking of defense, oh my goodness, their lockdown defense right off the bat in the first quarter and the second quarter, they were just making sure the Clippers couldn't get nothing. Double teaming big man and double teaming Kawhi or Paul right off the bat, making sure they didn't get nothing.
Yeah, they did a really good. Yeah, first quarter, I think it was 32-22. And so, yeah, they definitely put that lockdown defense on the Clippers. But, yeah, they didn't go away easy. That's for sure.
They did not go easy, especially Paul George.
Yeah, he was definitely a menace in the first half. He had 17 points. He was a menace. Honestly, he was a menace the entire game. Honestly, I was in disbelief how good this guy was.
I know. He was just dropping threes from everywhere. He was going in there, getting busy, getting what he wanted. I'm like, goodness, if Paul George played like this, I understand that he played really good at the Pacers, but like tonight, I don't know if this was just a what's the word? Like a glitch, or I don't know what the word is, but like I don't know if this is just a fluke or something random, him just playing really good, but
oh no, it's not random at all. Paul George is the man.
I know he's a good player, but
Paul George is the man. I'll take Paul George right now.
I haven't seen him play this good in a while.
I haven't, but also at the same time, he does have motivation because he's back in Indy and everything like that, and he knows people are gonna be hating on him. But hey, that is what that is. But as good as Paul George is, you know what the number one player combination is in the NBA? I just found this out the other day.
What?
The number one player combination in the NBA is Haliburton to Hield assist. So,
really?
Yeah, that's the number one player combination.
Oh, that's crazy.
The most effective scoring duo on assists is Haliburton to Hield.
Makes sense. Haliburton can find people that's open, do a flashy pass, Hield buckets.
And plus, they've already had a pre-existing relationship with each other, which kind of helps for the chemistry, even though they're on a new team together. They haven't even fully been on this team for a full year yet, which is crazy. I think that'll be in February. They'll have been on this team for a full year, which is crazy. But yeah, this is what we got for Sabonis and Holiday. Now I do know. The Kings, they're doing well as well.
They're doing really good.
And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted the Kings to do bad, so I'd be like, yeah, we got the better pick.
But like, it looks like both teams got a really good trade because their records are pretty close together, and like they've been doing good. Both teams.
It was definitely. At this point, I can't really say one team won the trade.
Yeah, neither one of us had the best side of the trade.
Because they both got what they needed. The Kings needed somebody like Sabonis, and we needed somebody like Tyrese. Now, I will say this. If we're going to measure by secondary players that were involved in the trade, Justin Holiday versus Buddy Hield, definitely we won that part of the trade, hands down.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Hands down, feet down, and toes down. We won that part of the trade for sure. And I saw myself, I was like, oh no, we're trading Justin Holiday? Because I like Justin Holiday, I'm not going to lie.
I was excited for Buddy Hield. I don't know about you, but
no,
I already
Buddy.
knew, like, last year, him being, like, second to Steph Curry. I remember all that, too. And I knew he was good at threes. I didn't think he was this good of how he's, like, I mean, this man, you could pass to him anywhere. I remember he got past the ball, he passed it back, then set a screen, and boom.
Yes, it's amazing how good this. Like, you can see it. You can see it that he's just like he's a well-oiled machine when it comes to shooting these threes.
And he be putting the work into it.
Yeah, you can tell he puts the work in. He's like a well-oiled machine when it comes to hitting these threes. It's like it's amazing to watch. That's what I'm saying. Like I think I said in the last podcast that it's like people say, well, he's not an elite player. It's like, no, he's not like a LeBron James or a Stephen Curry or somebody like that. Of course
not, but he's still really good.
He's elite at what he does.
Yeah, elite at what he does.
What he does is amazing, and we just need him to be a piece in the whole system. And I remember in just the first quarter, he had like a point or two in the paint too. So I mean, like he can get in there and get busy since he's still NBA player who's still got some dribbling skills and stuff. He can get in there and work his way in there. But I mean, he's a really good. What's the word for it? Crap. Player. I'm not sure. What word are you? Dang it. I don't know. I can't explain it. But he's a really good player at what he does. Yeah. Yep, he's definitely great at what he does. But the Pacers they did well. They were actually leading in the first half by 7. Score was 62-55, which was really good to see. But hey guys, we're about to pay these bills real quick. We'll be right back, and we'll see you guys in just a second. All right, guys, and we're back. So just to recap, the Pacers were leading by 7 at the half. Now to start off, it started fast and furious again. Myles hit the first shot for the Pacers, and PG again hit the first shot for the Clippers. So he was still on a rampage, and because I think he totaled. Well, did he score like 45 points that game against us? I don't know. He scored a lot. I mean, I think he scored like 45 points. It was. He was in the 40s for sure. Yeah, he was definitely. It was a 40. It was a low 40s, but it was definitely in the 40s. But he definitely gave us some issues the entire game. Hey, but we beat him. Yeah, we did. We did beat him. That's all that matters. Yeah. He still got that L. Oh, yeah. And then Kawhi was, for some reason, hitting all these shots that are bouncing in. I feel like after the game they had against Philly, 2018 or not? Yeah, 2018. I feel like he just practiced. The Bucks. That was the Bucks, no? No, it was Philly. No, that bounce. 76ers. No, that lucky bounce. 76ers. That wasn't the Bucks. That was the Philly. Yes. Oh, okay. I'll trust you. But yeah, I thought it was the Bucks, but hey. But yeah, I feel like he's just been practicing those because I feel like every shot he had, it's like 1, 2, in, and it's just like another 2 bounces in this in or 3 bounces or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I personally think, I know maybe his stats might show otherwise. I personally think Kawhi Leonard is overrated, but hey, That's me. Maybe it's just his whole lack of personality that I just don't like about him. I mean, maybe so. Before it was like he was quiet, but then when he started talking, it was just kind of strange. Like, he's a pretty strange individual. He is kind of strange. I mean, didn't he say he's a pretty cool guy? Was that how he sounded? Something? Yeah. I can't do that laugh. Don't make it was a terrible laugh. It was creepy. That was so funny. Yeah, but a whole lot more went on in that third quarter. And Myles hits 2 threes, and then one of them was a buzzer beater. He just pulled up and then boom, splash. Yeah, so Myles is playing, like, I know we've said this again, Myles is playing like an all-star. I personally think he's playing as one of the top centers in the league in general, even in the Eastern Conference. But he's just playing with composure. If he continues to play like this, I mean, maybe I honestly think as a center, they probably would want him to have, even though I don't think it's super important necessarily per se, because I think it's more about the overall rebounds for the team. I think for him to be in all-star talks as a center, you'd have to have average at least a couple more rebounds on the game. You know, I think what he's averaging right now as far as points is just fine. But if he's averaging a double-double at 17 and 10 or something like that, and I think is he still averaging 2 on blocks?
I believe so. Like 2 or like 1.5 or like it's 1 point something.
It's 1 point something now? His blocks went down? He was just doing so well before, so I don't know. Maybe he's just not in the position to block. If that's the case, yeah, what's he blocking on average?
This year 1.5. Oh wait, no, sorry. Wait, that's assist. Where's blocks? Why isn't blocks on
there? I don't know. That's for Myles Turner?
Here.
Myles Turner blocks. Yeah, type in Myles Turner blocks. Or average or something like that.
It's not how you spell blocks.
I
was going. Okay, so I was typing fast. I don't even know why I put the E. Anyways,
it's okay. Well, anyways, it's not that.
It's 1 point. It's 1 point something.
1 point something, man.
So far as being mean.
So he's not like 1 point something. That's not very.
It's either 1 point something or like not much above like 2, maybe like 2.1 or something like that. But I think it's 1 point something.
It is what it is. Like even if he's down a little bit, if it's a down year for him, which we probably should know that.
I don't care if it's a down year for blocks, but I mean he's getting the points up there. So.
Yeah, it's up year for points. So
up year for points. That's good.
Up year for points and an up year for rebounds. That's for sure.
But sadly, that was not holding the Clippers because in the early third quarter, they started to gain the lead back, and they actually tied the game. But then Nesmith comes in and breaks the tie with the 3, and that was really cool because he just splashes that thing out of nowhere. I was like, okay, Nesmith. I was like, oh, this guy's actually like become a good player.
Yeah,
he's helping the team out, and like I was like, dang, they tied the game. Then like right after, Nesmith hits a 3. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, Nesmith is playing with confidence, which is something that I just know he didn't have back when he was with the Celtics. But it's kind of hard, man. You're playing with people like Jaylen Brown and what's his face? Jason Tatum, you know,
oh, yeah.
The Celtics.
Because
he's playing, his confidence, you know.
Yeah,
so he probably felt like he had to be perfect all the time at the level that the Celtics are at.
Yeah.
So, you screw up over there, it's like, oh man, you know, you get taken off the court. Yeah, there's more pressure for you to perform at a high level over there because they've been a contender for the Eastern Conference, you know, for some years now.
Yeah,
you know, they've just been in that talk. So,
yeah.
But if you're, you know, you have a lot more room to make mistakes when you're coming to a Pacers team that didn't make the playoffs, was in the bottom, I think 3 teams. Yeah. Last year, bottom 5 or bottom 6 teams overall in the entire league. So, I mean, it just allowed him to actually, you know, breathe a little bit. Obviously, he still needs to play well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he just has a little bit more room for error.
I remember he almost sold the game. We'll talk about that a little later. He almost messed up the game for us.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that, but we'll get to that in a
it's
second.
okay, because we still won.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I remember he got taken off the court after that, but, yeah. But, sadly, after that, like literally the next play, Paul George comes down the court and splashes a 3 in our face. And we're like, oh, thanks, Paul. we're like, oh yeah, Nesmith. Paul comes down, splash. Like we didn't even get some time to celebrate.
I'm telling you, he's a supervillain. He was a supervillain that game.
He was just splashing 3s and more 3s after that. I mean, they weren't running away with it, but I remember he kept on scoring 3s after we'd done scored and stuff. So
yeah, we barely escaped Paul George. And it was kind of like, you know, like in that movie where you're trying to get away from the bad guy, and then there's like the doors coming down or whatever, and then you barely just slid under the door. That's kind of what it felt like. Yeah. How we won this game. Like we barely slid under the door when the door closed right behind us, you know?
For real.
That's what it felt like, and then the enemy was still shooting like lasers and stuff. That's what Paul George, he was that guy shooting lasers at us while we were trying to slide under that steel door coming down.
Yeah. Paul George was like really helping them because they came back from a 14-point deficit. They got up to 14 points in the beginning with the Pacers coming hot. Added 7 more points to their lead, but then Paul just kept on dropping bombs, and it was surprising because at the end of the third quarter, Kawhi and Paul together had 42 points combined. So Paul really went off in the fourth.
Yeah, he definitely went off.
He really went off because I was like, only 42 combined. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what he had the whole game. So he got most of his points in the fourth, just like Haliburton.
Exactly. Yeah, Haliburton had most of his points in the fourth. I think. Yeah, he got 18 points. Haliburton did in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But yeah, Myles. Yeah, he was the man this game. He hit 2 back-to-back and ones, which is amazing. You know, I always like to see that happen.
Yeah. But yeah, and at the end of that quarter, they were going back-to-back. Pacers tied it up. I don't know if it was Pacers or Clippers who tied it up, but to 93-93. So at that point, I was like, please clutch up Pacers. Because before, the Pacers would do good, and then in the fourth quarter, they would just completely, just not do good. So I'm glad we have a team that's, in the fourth quarter, you can really count on them, especially in the last seconds. Because I was like, oh, my goodness. Because in the last, three minutes of the game, I was like, oh, my goodness, what are they going to do? I was like, it was like one of those games where you didn't know really who was going to win.
Yeah, but Haliburton, he was clutch for us with those 18 points.
Yeah.
It was, for a second they were trading threes. It seemed like, he hit a clutch 3-pointer, and Paul hit a clutch 3-pointer. At one point in time, Haliburton had to tie the game up at 123 with the layup, and then had to tie it up again with the and one because Paul George just wasn't stopping. And then near the very end, Paul George fouled Haliburton. And I didn't understand why he even called for a coach's challenge on this. Because it was obviously that it was a foul on him. To me it was, because his shoulder was pushed into Tyrese's body.
The challenge didn't succeed, right?
No, the challenge did not succeed.
And then, so, I forgot. Wait, so...
Yeah, the challenge didn't succeed.
Paul challenged it, right?
Yeah, Paul called for Ty Lue to challenge it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's what happened.
Then, wasn't it shortly after Haliburton gets a tech, which I don't think he should have gotten a tech. That was stupid.
Was that before or after? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but...
Well, he got a tech because it wasn't anything that he did towards a player, but they don't want you to throw the ball into the stands. But he didn't throw the ball into the stands. No, he didn't. He threw the ball at the base of the goal.
That's not even that bad. I mean,
it wasn't, because he didn't even throw it that hard. It wasn't like he was throwing a fit or anything like that. He just kind of threw it at
it. It wasn't like he was just chugging
yeah, he wasn't showing any kind of
he punch a wall or something. It wasn't like that.
Yeah, he wasn't showing any kind of bad sportsmanship. I just honestly think he was just throwing it, and they just threw it. So I feel like really the referees are trying to find any way to make the Pacers lose.
For real, that's what it felt like the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
They were just doing too much to them referees. It got on my nerves. I could tell it got on Haliburton's nerves. I could tell it got on everybody's nerves. It was very annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. But yeah, it was a good game. We still ended up winning barely because Neesmith decided to foul Paul George and stick him at the line right after all that happened.
I know.
I was like, wow, we got that break. And then, we still, the challenge was not successful. I was like, great.
Yeah, I know.
We could just let him shoot because he was playing well, and if he shot, there's a great chance he would have hit. But if he didn't hit, we could have got the rebound. But instead, I said, it was funny because when we were watching, I said, all right, just don't foul Paul George. And as soon as that came out my mouth, Neesmith fouls Paul George and sends him to the line.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I know.
I was like, this is ridiculous.
But yeah, Myles was clutching up with them layups and then them free throw shots after. So was Haliburton.
Oh yeah,
those free throw shots for sure.
Yeah, Haliburton clutch, Myles was a clutch, so they put the game in the bag for us. So yeah, it was a great game overall.
Very great game, very great game.
Yeah, so we ended up winning. Myles says in an interview he felt like he was consistently overlooked as a Pacer. I think it felt like he was consistently overlooked on the Pacers and then also by the national media as a Pacer. So he's just been feeling overlooked in general. And so I think it's nice that he feels like he's getting this attention. I do know that that whole, thing with DeAndre Ayton, can't remember how much money they were wanting to give the man, but it was a whole lot of money. I gotta feel like that was a kind of hurt his pride a little bit, maybe, I imagine. But I'll be quite honest. I mean, some people still say, man, if we just had Ayton, we'd be even better. It's like, I can't really say that. I'm not sure how good Ayton's playing right now, honestly. But from what I've heard, I think really that we have the better deal with keeping Myles Turner. I mean, hopefully we get to continue to keep him. Hopefully he stays. Hopefully they pay him whatever he needs to get paid. And hopefully they pay him close to whatever they're going to give Ayton. But then also on the same time, hopefully hopefully it's worth it as far as whatever they pay him. Because they still need to have money to pay other players and whatnot. So
they really do.
But I'm sure that'll work out well. I think for Myles that he just wants to succeed. He wants to win. And I think, I'm not saying he's going to take a back seat as far as what he needs to get paid, because he does need to get paid and he does need to force that. And hopefully they do give him whatever he needs. But at the same time, I think he really just wants to win and play on a good team. And he has to know that playing with Tyrese Haliburton is just making him look a whole lot better than he is. Not saying he's not good.
Yeah.
But he puts him, just like everybody else, he puts you in the best position to score. And I think that's another reason why Myles has been looking better. He's been in the best position to score when he does get that ball. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree. Sorry, I spaced out. What'd you say?
I said when Haliburton assists Myles, it looks like Myles is in the best position to score.
For sure.
So that's why I think he looks more composed, because just like the same thing, like even though Buddy's a great shooter, sometimes if you assist somebody and maybe the ball hits your hand too hard, or maybe you have to reach a little bit for it.
Yeah, I mean, Haliburton gets it to you like right up like a dime. Just every time, it feels like every time dime. And I mean, like, I feel like he helps everybody be able to score better, getting those tight passes in. And I feel like it creates opportunities for everybody on the team to score better.
Oh, yeah. So
for him, too, I mean, like, he scored 18 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he scored 18 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, 24 overall.
Yeah.
So, which is still great. Still leading the league in assists.
Which I think he took, leading the league in assists was crazy. I think he took us home, and I think he really showed how he definitely is, for sure, no doubt about it. Even though Myles played outstanding in the fourth, I still think that he really showed that he's the main guy on the Pacers team right now. Nobody else but Haliburton. He's the main guy, because 18 points in the fourth quarter. Like, he was like, all right, I only scored 6 points before in the rest of the game, which that was not good if you're gonna be leading the team. But he's like, all right, I gotta pick up some slack, and started being a shot first guy, not a pass first guy. So I liked how he did that and kind of took control. It helped us win the game, because without Haliburton, we were not winning the game. I mean, even though Myles Turner, it would have been a close loss, but it took us home.
I agree. And also, I do want to say this. So, even though Mathurin, some people say Mathurin should be starting, he's still getting starting minutes. And he's still usually in the top 5 for starters. So, even though Nimbhard is starting over Mathurin is still in that top 5. So, between Myles and Tyrese, they scored 58 points together. Buddy had 18 as third, and then also fourth, Nesmith, slightly above Mathurin at 16. Mathurin scored 15 points total for the game. So, like I said, even though he's not in starting position right now, I mean, he pretty much joined all the starters outside of, Nimbhard, as far as the top 5 starters, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was a great game. Awesome game. Very much enjoyed it.
And I know how you said between Myles and Tyrese, they had 58. But I want you guys to make sure you know, Myles Turner had 34 points, 11 and 17 from field goal, and 10 for free throw shots.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Clutch. I mean, like, this dude, well, I don't know if clutch is the right word, but this dude was like...
That's definitely clutch.
Yeah, I mean, like, clutching up shots at, like, especially at the free throw line, like, a lot of guys and, like, a lot of centers can't really hit free throw shots. So the fact that he had 10 for 10 and 11 from 17 field goal, I mean, he did a heck of a
That's
job.
amazing.
That's amazing. And 34 points. I didn't even know, like, at the end of the game, I was like, oh, he really played good in the fourth quarter. I mean, I want to see, wish I had time to look at how much points he scored in the fourth, but, I mean, I don't know how much he did. I know he racked up more, but I didn't even realize how much points he had throughout the whole game. I mean, phenomenal.
Yeah, very phenomenal. And speaking of clutch, the Pacers this year have just been a clutch team. I really think it's just been a whole vibe for the team this year. Out of the 22 clutch games they had to win, they won 13 of those 22 in those clutch times. What's the word I'm looking for? Those clutch. When somebody had to be clutch, they won most of the time. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. There's another word for it I just can't think of.
And they've won their last 4 games, which is good. Very good.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely excited to see the Pacers next on Monday evening. The game's going to be, I think it's still going to be here before they go on the road trip, right?
Yeah, so this evening.
Yeah, so it's going to be Monday evening. Before they go on the road trip, they're going to be facing off against the Raptors, Toronto Raptors. Right now, we have a slightly better record than them. But they're the Raptors, and you can't really say. I mean, because we're so clutch. There's the thing about that. The record could be deceiving because we're not necessarily beating teams handily. Like, we're not really smashing teams. But we're beating teams. We're
really good, solid team right now. I'm not trying to expect like us to be like one of the top people. I think we're number 6, but I don't expect us to be like 4 and up, but I would like that. But I mean, after being like one of the not worst in the East, but not like, I guess, worst. Yeah, I mean, if we want to really be honest with ourselves, worst in the East. But I mean, I'm just glad that we're now a solid team in the top 8. So
definitely, for sure, it makes it a lot more exciting. Because I've talked to friends and I say, hey, you been watching the Pacers? I mean, the Pacers were so bad last year. Some people who are diehard Pacers fans, they just couldn't even bring themselves to watch them this year. I'm like, hey, you have to watch these Pacers this year. You know, you have to watch them. You know, I tell them how good they are. It's like, it's like they just had their heart broken from last year. They were so terrible.
Yeah.
So, but it's all good. So, hey, guys, make sure you watch them on Valley Sports Indiana if you can. And if you can't, hopefully you can listen to them on radio at 1070 The Fan or 107.5 FM and 93 FM. So make sure you guys can tune in. And if you guys can't, what were you going to say, Preston?
I was going to say, and make sure you guys tune in tomorrow morning to hear us on our reaction of the game.
Oh, yes, definitely. So we're going to I think I mentioned last podcast that we're going to be releasing all of our podcasts in the morning at 8 o'clock, day after the game. If all goes well. If it doesn't go well, which we intend on it, we'll do it as soon as we can. But if all goes well, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Game, the day after the game. So, morning after the game. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. It was a great one. Preston, so, that being said, what is your final word?
I didn't grab the list.
No, you didn't.
I forgot the list. Okay. My final word is, drumroll please, clutch. Because we clutched up. That's my clutch. Because we definitely clutched up with those free throws. And clutch.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I was going to say clutch.
All right, now, Dad. Everybody's lights on you.
Okay. I already got mine.
Final word. Drumroll, please.
My final word is bag.
They got this in the bag?
Bag. As in, give Myles that bag.
Hey! Oh, yeah.
Myles needs to get that bag.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And to keep Myles Turner. So, in the past, which you guys may have heard us, if you go reference some of our old podcasts, when Preston had the Mickey Mouse voice.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that, okay? That was 2 years ago, okay?
Well, if you reference some of those, we might not have been completely on board about Myles Turner. And honestly, even just last year, we weren't 100% sure. I didn't know how I felt about keeping him versus getting rid of Sabonis. But, we better not let go of this man, especially after we got rid of Sabonis. So
actually, if you were, I think it was the 3rd episode special guest came on, and he was talking about how Myles wasn't. I think he was saying that Myles wasn't just being used right on the Pacers yet. I think that was the third episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, check out all the episodes, not just third.
Check out all the episodes.
Just don't listen to me because I didn't know what I was talking about.
Nah.
I mean, I knew. Just don't listen to me.
It's okay for us to know.
That's okay. But
and
yeah,
for the special guest, we will mention him by name. That is my dad, his grandpa, because we know he's going to be listening to this, so we can't just be talking about special guests like we got some random person.
Well, they gotta look at the third episode to figure it out. We're trying to make sure they're listening to more of our episodes.
Yeah, they'll see it if
they'll see it. Yeah,
but
and he might pop on again.
Yep, he may pop on again.
Think about it, Grandpa, please.
Okay. All right. We'll probably get him. But
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and be sure to tune into that game, and also be sure to tune into our podcast in the morning, day after the game, 8 o'clock. So you guys take it easy. Be blessed.